I'm really sorry. I have to apologize for my way that I have lived in the past. I've just eaten a lot of meat, different kinds of meats, and not thought about the animals. I've driven my automobile around and burned gasoline. So I burned a lot of wood for heat. I've I've used a lot of food. There's been a lot of farmland and it's been used to keep me alive. So I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that I bought all these electronics devices and that I've been part of the labor problem in Asia, that people aren't getting fair wages because I'm um, buying things or buying them at certain places. Or I'm an animal, just another animal on this planet. So I'm stuck here like everybody else that's stuck here. And you try as best as you can to conform in the community you live in. You have to behave a certain way. You have to present yourself, dress a certain way, have a certain means of transportation, just maintain a visible appearance. And so I've tried a lot in my life to be able to choose a career path that is working in a kind of business that's beneficial to people. That if the work that I do is leaving behind something that is necessary, that matters, it's not something that's destructive or something that's not necessary. That the work that I do, the way I make a livelihood is doing something that's it's having a positive effect upon society as a whole. That the work that I do that improves the quality of life for people, and it's not in any way causing harm or suffering in the work that I do. And I've tried to become more conscientious of my diet and what what I'm eating, and how just by what I'm eating affects the planet that I live on. And I try to be conscientious of my energy usage and how I, as a consumer animal, that I'm not using a lot of resources in my lifestyle. I live a very simple lifestyle. I don't travel a lot. I don't buy a lot of new things. I don't eat meat. I'm not supporting industries that are harming people. I'm trying to use my investments for my retirement in companies like alternative energy and organic farming and infrastructure. Deliberately, intentionally putting my money in my 401k plan, and I'm trying to focus my investment portfolio in the direction of companies that are or businesses that are beneficial. So I'm trying to avoid, like alcohol, tobacco, gambling, nuclear power, coal power, um, animal experimentation, and I want to invest my money in companies that are making wind power or solar panels, companies that are um, improving the infrastructure, the power grid or the transportation infrastructure or the water delivery, sewer. These kinds of this is where investors, I myself, I'm speaking for myself now. I'm trying to put my investment dollars into projects that don't hurt or harm others, animals and people, animals being the same. So I realized when I was a youngster, I didn't really care about where I worked at. I was more or less trying to find a job just to make some money to live off of. Unfortunately, maybe I built up some bad karma in that I did work at some places that not were doing kinds of business that wasn't benefiting people. It was more of destructive on society, the kind of business that it was. So anyhow, as a human being, I realize how much garbage I generate. A lot of the food I buy is in plastic wrapped packaging, and then I get things that are shipped to my house that have styrofoam, and then I have a lot of other plastic items that shampoo bottles, soap bottles, glass, um, that it's not recycled. It just goes to the landfill. So I've accumulated a lot of old appliances and a lot of old electronics that I haven't thrown away, and I have them in storage. So I don't go to the dump and take my stuff to the dump. There's a lot of old appliances and electrical devices that are near to where I live and near my house. But I realize that the climate change, that's everybody's problem. It's just not big business's problem. It's every single person taking a careful examination and a thorough evaluation of how they use materials and energy in their own life. So as a consumer, as somebody that just that travels, that purchases items, that has to eat and live, if I myself as a consumer become more aware of how I live or the choices that I make and how it impacts the environment, which is the biosphere, then I'm going to be more cautious, and I'll try to live with a lighter footprint. And my legacy won't be all of the things buried in a landfill in the future. So everything that I have that I own now will be just buried in a landfill.